one day, we're gonna have to do a YouTube special about my grandfather and my father. That's something that'll probably take some time. We gotta organize videos, we gotta organize photos. But with the internet buzzing about the sale of a 1964 Ferrari 250 GTO for 70, yes, that's $70 million, I figured I have to share an incredible story about the one that got away. So in 1966, a gentleman by the name of Tom Mead imported a 1964 Ferrari 250 GTO into the US. This was not just any 250 GTO, this was the ex-Surtees car that famously raced. This was a right-hand drive car, a little more rare than a left-hand drive car, and this was chassis number 3647. Sometime around, my guess is probably July of 1966, my grandfather, Jaques Tamarian, ended up with the car and famously drove it around Massachusetts. We sort of know the time date because it was actually a great story where he took my father for a ride and they went to the local Ford dealership. And at the time, Ford had just won Le Mans, I think it was 1, 2, 3, with the Ford GT40. And they pulled up in the 250 GTO to the Ford dealership, and there was a crowd of people inside the dealership who were actually looking at the Le Mans winning Ford GT40. And what did they do? They actually left the dealership and ran out to see the Ferrari. My dad sort of tells me stories of how as a young guy he used to straighten out the chicken wire mesh grill in the front of the car. He wasn't that crazy about the car. My father actually thought it was a little crude and thought it was a little ugly. But imagine within a few months, my grandfather sold the car to a gentleman by the name of Bob Sowers, or Robert Sowers of Massachusetts, and thought he had made an incredible profit, which was probably like $1,000 or $2,000 back then. He sold the car for what I was told and quoted was right around $9,800. Yes, that's $9,800. So God rest my grandfather, up until his death, probably like about 10 years ago, you could never talk to him about the story of a 250 GTO.